Yeah, Governor Baker, as most of you all know now, that he extended our school closures through May 4th. So across the state, we're up until May 4th, at least tentatively. We're hoping that we come back May 4th, but that things are still up in the air. And we'll see how things go over the next month or 6 weeks. We also received communications from the Commissioner of Education, Jeff Riley, on how the Department of Education wants us to approach remote learning. So we're using these guidelines provided by DESE to set up the approach that Marshfield will take over the next 6 weeks. My leadership team's meeting actually yesterday, today. We're going to have a conference call tomorrow, going over some of these strategies that the state wants us to embrace and see how they can fit into the Marshfield model. Our teachers have been doing a great job over the last 2 weeks, keeping kids focused on learning, either through lessons that they create and put online for the students to work with, or through our community of learning. There's been a number of activities, but these have been voluntary, these have been ungraded. That's the expectation that the state had for all districts when school was closed. They've changed some of those expectations, and so we're trying to embrace what the state wants us to do now moving forward and what that might look like. So we'll hopefully have this new model rolled out sometime middle of next week. So we're excited about that. Report cards are going out, even though we have not been in school for a few weeks. The elementary school and middle school, their second trimester ended that Friday when we first canceled. And typically the report cards would have gone out last week. We pushed them back a week. So those are going out this week. And then the elementary folks, in conjunction with their trimester 2 report cards, they also have parent conferences. And believe it or not, we're going to have parent conferences, but they're not going to be obviously in-person parent conferences. Parents today will have the opportunity to sign up for a time like they would for a typical parent-teacher conference next Tuesday or next Thursday, like they typically do. Tuesday between 3:30 and 5:30, they'll be able to pick a slot to have a 10-minute conference, and they can do so as well on Thursday between 1 and 3 p.m. The caveat here, though, is that they will not be in person. They will be via phone. So parents will leave their best contact number on the sign-up sheet that they'll get today from their principals, and the teachers will call them at that time. So if you set up an appointment for 3:30 on Tuesday, you'll get a call from the teacher at 3:30, and they'll have your 10-minute conference on the report card, and just to be able to check in. There still might be some that won't be able to get into one of those conference times, and if they simply email their teacher, the teachers will get back to them, and they can communicate through email if need be. So we're excited about that taking place, give them a little sense of normalcy like we would typically have in a term, and I think parents want to have that contact as best they can. Our grab and go breakfasts are still up and running. Our folks in the food service department are doing a great job. I believe we're upwards to 80 meals a day now that are going out. A combination of pickups at the Boys and Girls Club over on Proprietors Drive. That's continuing, and those numbers have gone from 10 to 12 the beginning of last week, upwards to about 30 now, where people drive up and pick up a breakfast or lunch. But we're also delivering now. We're using some of our staff volunteering their time to come over and deliver to homes or to folks in any of the apartment or condominium complexes that need these meals. And we're close to 50 students there that we're reaching. So combination of the two, we're at about 80. As things continue and folks come upon tougher times, we want them to know that we're there for them. They don't have to be on free and reduced lunch to get assistance. We will give this to anybody who needs it, any of our students who need this, and we're happy to do so. The Boys and Girls Club have been great. The food pantries also have been supporting this process, and the school committee has made it a point to note that we want to make sure we feed our children that need this help. In addition, MCAS, that's a big question that a lot of parents might have. They have not officially changed yet. It's kind of a two-part process. The federal government gave states the opportunity to, if they want to opt out or revise it, they have that permission. You have to start at the federal level first, and that happened earlier this week. Now, the state level, our Commissioner of Education is filing legislation at the State House that will give him the authority to, again, revise the setup, and it might take out some of the grades or move the test back, or just outright cancel them. And I've been a proponent of looking to pass on those exams for this year. We have enough going on in our world and the concerns that folks have at home about this pandemic. And if we are back in school, the shortened time, I, as a superintendent, don't want to be spending that time trying to cram in some of these exams. So I've asked the commissioner to at least give him my thoughts on postponing them for this year. I'm sure there's a way we can make this up for those sophomores, especially who need it for graduation, to do something next year. But we'll wait and see. They're waiting for the State House to give the authority to the commissioner, and if he gets that authority, he will then make a determination. I'm guessing probably by the middle to end of next week, we'll know where we are with MCAS. Right now, we're still slated for June 23rd as our last day of school. That may change. Again, the state said that we only have to use upwards to 185 days. What our 185th day would have been if we had 5 snow days. That's June 23rd. But they're leaving out the option that towns, if they need it, may be able to extend beyond June 23rd. So right now, we're still at June 23rd. Our graduation date for seniors is still at May 30th. But again, we have a month now to see, how that might change or may not change. And we'll have more information as that moves forward. I keep on forgetting that's my other hat that I wear as president of the MIAA, and actually my focus and main priority is always here in Marshfield. So that's been what I've been spending my time on these last couple of days. But we do have a board of directors meeting on Monday, and we will be deciding those very matters, John, as far as what we do with the rest of the sports season, the spring season, I should say, if we come back. If we come back on May 4th, we're going to have to. My goal is to have some type of sports season for our classes, for our schools across the state, and I'm just not sure what it's going to look like. There was a couple proposals brought forth by Tournament Management Committee. We gave them the dates of it before the extension to the closure. We were shooting for an April 27th start to the season, with a June 20th, that weekend of June 20th being the championship weekend. Now we've lost a week there, a week plus to May 4th, and so we have to revisit what those recommendations were. We'll do that on Monday by teleconference board meeting, and we'll decide what it's going to be. It's not going to be pretty, but I want to salvage something, because the kids have lost so much already to not have the opportunity to take part in classic athletics, especially for the seniors in their last season. That's something I want to try to hold out on and do whatever we can. And I have a feeling that the rest of the board feels the same way, and we're all going to try to work real hard to come up with something that will give them some semblance of a season. And then finally, just we want to make sure that everyone is healthy and safe at home. As you know, the numbers of coronavirus folks who have picked up the virus has increased. And here in Marshfield, I think as of today, we were up to 5. And Sunday we had 0. So it is impacting our community. I've been reached out to by staff members who have had family or friends afflicted with this, and I just want to make sure that everyone's taking care of themselves, both their body and their mind, social, emotional well-being of everybody, especially when you're home, away from your friends, not in school with your teachers. I mean, that weighs a lot on students, and it weighs on the parents as well, and it weighs on our staff. And we want to make sure that everyone's taking care of themselves as we all kind of maneuver these uncharted waters together. And if anyone has any questions, I urge the parents to go to their building principals for their first contact. If they have a question about anything, they can email them and call them. Everyone's checking their emails and trying to stay in touch with their students and with their families as much as they can. They can obviously contact my office as well if they have any questions, or email me, and folks have been doing that. But we're in this together, and we're going to get through it together. So thanks for giving me the chance to share a few things on what's going on in week 2 of our closure.